Mike Davis is the man, founder of the Article 3 Project, former law clerk for Justice Neil Gorsuch, former chief counsel for nominations for the U.S. Senate Committee on the Judiciary. Mike, thank you so much for taking the time with us, and a good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you, Joe. Thank you.
Mike, let me talk about, we're all about this mayoral race in New York. We're just all deathly afraid this guy Mamdani's going to get in. Do you know, he was hit with 2 criminal referrals yesterday that accuse him of accepting illegal contributions from foreign donors. Now, if this was Donald Trump like a year ago, oh my gosh, they would be all over it, all over it. Is there any way, Mike Davis, you know this inside out and backwards, you know how to get into the weeds on this. How do you stop this Mamdani anti-Semite, this, in my opinion, horrible person that's trying to take over New York any way legally that you can, in your legal mind, see it, Mike Davis?
Well, I would say this to New Yorkers. If you import the third world, you become the third world. And that's exactly what's happened with Zohran Mamdani. You have, if you look at the polling, the people who are overwhelmingly supporting him are people who are foreigners, who don't have real ties to America, and they're trying to elect a mayor of New York City who represents their foreign values instead of American values. It's extraordinarily dangerous. This guy is a total fraud. He said that, his aunt cried and was scared that she couldn't wear her hijab after 9/11 when he just totally made up that story. And then when he got caught, he said it was his dad's cousin or something like that. This guy's a fraud, total fraud. And if he's the mayor of New York City, he's going to destroy New York City. He's going to make it impossible to live there. He wants to decriminalize crimes. Apparently, he wants Islamists to be able to beat their wives like they do back in the third world, and that would make that acceptable in New York City. I mean, this is a disaster. And again, this is the problem when you have unvetted mass migration from third world hellholes.
Yeah, it's so good. He's only been here 6 years. And why is it with these folks that, listen, my grandparents came over, they wanted to be American, they flew the American flag. This guy was just trying to, and he made the comment, we want to change it to our way of life, No, become American. Very, very scary. And your point about the aunt is so unnerving. Oh, my aunt, it was, and it ends up his father's cousin, afraid to go in the subway with the hijab on because after 9/11, how about getting mad at Osama bin Laden? How about getting mad about the radicals that bombed the world and took down the World Trade Center? How about getting mad at those guys? They never blame themselves. It's always transference to Americans. But legally, if he has 2 criminal referrals, and also if he has potential, he has an unindicted co-conspirator of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, Mike Davis, that is backing him. He's got his arm around the guy. There's got to be a legal way to stop that, no?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and you have to ask, how is this guy even in contention for dog catcher, let alone likely to win mayor of America's largest city? I mean, you have an Islamist, guys, New Yorkers. This Zohran Mamdani is an Islamist, and he's going to impose his Islamist view on New York City, and it's going to be a disaster for New York City. And what the rest of America is supposed to bail out New York City after this Zohran Mamdani destroys the city because New Yorkers are apparently too stupid to see the light here. I mean, it's unbelievable to me that this guy is going to be the next mayor of America's largest city.
Yeah, amen, Mike. We feel the same way. We're shaking our heads saying, how is this happening? Mike, moving on to, speaking of New York, President Trump has filed an appeal in the Alvin Bragg case against him. The odds that the president wins that appeal, I mean, that atrocious case, Tish James in New York, it's just unconscionable. But, President, he got the last laugh. He's the president of the United States, and you got to love that. But against Alvin Bragg, anybody listening, does that appeal have to go to New York, or will that go to the Supreme Court? I should know this. I don't. Mike, what are you thinking?
Well, I mean, it will go through the New York legal system. It will go up to the appellate division, and then it goes up to the New York Court of Appeals, which is New York's Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And then it could go to the Supreme Court of the United States. But it is as we talked about on your show for years, it is an utterly bogus legal theory. It is a weaponization of law enforcement to go after your political opponent. If the New York Appellate Division of the New York Court of Appeals actually followed the law, they would stop this. But it could go to the Supreme Court if New York does not. And I think the Supreme Court is going to side with President Trump on this, just because this is what we've been saying, and this is what I'm worried about with New York, with Zoran. These are third world Marxist tactics that they used against President Trump. And it's unacceptable. They took our country to the brink. You had a judge Judge Juan Merchan, who had a clear conflict of interest. His daughter is making money off of this case, which requires his recusal under New York law. It's just there are so many reversible errors constitutionally, statutorily, on so many grounds that I cannot imagine this case does not get reversed on appeal.
Amen on all of that, Mike Davis. Mike, I got a litany in front of me, and we appreciate your valuable time. I see with Tish James with that mortgage fraud case. They're trying to lump that together with the judge, with a James Comey assertion where they're trying to go in and walk us through that with what's happening down there in Virginia. This is Norfolk, Virginia, and I thought it would be a little bit objective down there, but apparently not. What's happening with the Tish James case, and how is that? Is it tied to the Comey case? Same judge? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, here's the deal with Big Tish. Big Tish James, our favorite fraudster. Remember this. She went after President Trump. She's the New York Attorney General. She went after President Trump. Yeah. She campaigned on the fact that she's going to get President Trump, and then she brought a bogus civil fraud case against Trump for the non-fraud of paying back sophisticated Wall Street banks on time as agreed in full with interest. And her fraud theory is that Trump somehow duped these sophisticated Wall Street banks, mortgage fraud, when Trump said that Mar-a-Lago was worth several $100 million. Big Tish said, no, Mar-a-Lago is worth $18 million. Well, a tennis court in Mar-a-Lago is worth more than $18 million. It was a totally bogus case, but she got another goofball judge with Judge Arthur. It was Arthur Enger on, just a total whack job New York judge. Yeah. And they socked Trump for hundreds of millions of dollars. And then remember Big Tish said, no, you can't lie to the banks. You're going to destabilize our mortgage system and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? Big Tish did this in Virginia. She said an investment property in Virginia that she let one of her, great grandnieces, one of her little scumbag nieces use as an investment property for Big Tish. Big Tish said it was a second home, and so she got a better interest rate. Clear bank fraud, clear false statements to a financial institution, right? They just got her, right? But what they're doing is Big Tish is trying to dismiss the case. Big Tish says that Lindsay Halligan, who is the Trump U.S. attorney who brought this case, was appointed illegally by President Trump and Attorney General Pam Bondi under the Appointments Clause of the Constitution. So that's where we are on that. The judge is going to rule. Even if the judge rules that Lindsay was somehow appointed incorrectly under the Constitution, then they can just bring the case again, right? Because the statute of limitations is told they can bring the case again. But as I've said, Joe, remember, this mortgage fraud case is the appetizer indictment. The main course indictment, I hope, is going to be the criminal conspiracy against rights against all of these lawfare Democrats for politicizing and weaponizing intel agencies and law enforcement against President Trump going back 8 years to Crossfire Hurricane. And I hope that indictment is brought with the new grand jury that's getting impaneled in January in Fort Pierce, Florida.
It's amazing. And then, I read that Judge consolidates James and Comey, the Tish James and James Comey motions to disqualify this Halligan gal that you talked about. This is so corrupt, Mike. It's so corrupt. And we got to let you go, man. But I think about Tish James, Fannie Willis, you told us about from day one. Jack Smith, you put the red flags about Jack Smith. This guy who goes and raids Mar-a-Lago. Adam Schiff lying through his teeth in a treasonous way. Swalwell. All these people. It's like a cesspool. You think we'll get to the bottom of it all before Donald? We got 3 years with Donald Trump, and I'm hoping that I guess the Republicans have to step up. I mean, you're feeling positive we can get all this evil that is out there, lawfare wise. I'm talking about, Mike.
Yes, to these lawfare Democrats, you better lawyer up, because justice is definitely coming. I have said this for 3 years since the Mar-a-Lago raid, and I will make it my mission to put these lawfare Democrats in prison over the next 4 years. Justice is definitely coming.
Mike Davis, founder of Article 3. Mike, thanks so much for your valuable time, sir. We appreciate it. Come back when you can, please.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Mike Davis, founder of Article 3, former law clerk. Don't forget for Neil Gorsuch, knows what he's talking about. Former chief counsel for nominations for the U.S. Senate Committee of the Judiciary. I sit here.